The Society of Nigerian Broadcasters (SNB) has inducted hundreds of members into its body. The inauguration took place at TRANSCORP HILTON, ABUJA. The SNB, which will henceforth be a regulatory body for media practitioners in Nigeria, has assured members of promoting professionalism by separating quacks from journalism. The event has in attendance veteran broadcasters. Our reporter, Matthias Ayodeji, has more.
In pursuance of high standards of professional practice of broadcasting in Nigeria, the Council of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters inducted its first batch of qualified members.
That in my capacity as a member of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, I shall faithfully serve. I shall promote the interests, aims, objectives, and general policy of the society.
The chairman of the occasion, Ambassador Yemi Farombi, and father of the day, Ibrahim Mohammed, took the members through the memory lane.
To begin to think that we are professional because we have a body of knowledge and we have a body of practice. Rebu said too, every profession will be able to exercise over the profession, or control over the practitioner. And this can only be done by a professional body vested with authority. Hitherto, this has not been so in Nigeria because there was no approved and recognized professional body existing to exercise control over the individual broadcaster. The search for such a body started as far back as 1962. And how did it start? The then Nigerian television services that became NBC TV and that became, I don't know whether it's NTA Lagos or NTA Network, but that became part of NTA. They invited the Syracuse University to come and organize training for their staff and also to conduct an audience survey for them.
For me, and most of us, or all of us here, we are witnesses to the emergence of Nigerian Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. Years later, some of us may look back and say, oh, I was part and parcel of this new organization. And I'm sure a lot of us will be proud of it. So, in the last 61 years, in and out of broadcasting, I might as well say I do not intend to write any biography because some of the things I came across could not be published.
A veteran broadcaster and the former Director General Nigerian Television Authority, Professor Tony Iradia, who was a speaker at the occasion, wants owners and managers to do more than what they are presently doing.
Broadcasting is a 24-hour business. It's a non-stop operation. And if you don't want it to stop, you have to manage it. If you don't manage it, it can stop. And it can stop over a very minute thing, like diesel finished. And your generator is off, NEPA is off, the station is off. So you have failed. If it's a non-stop operation, and if you know what some of those of us on this side of the table, what we were told in those days, that when your program fails, it's the same thing as when a doctor's patient dies. Your program must never fail. And so if it must never fail, the system has to be managed. You have emerging technologies, tools, new ones. Today, we have digitization, and we know what it entails. It means that every year, something new is coming. And except there is somebody in charge of ensuring that the new systems and the new technologies are found and used, you may be running an obsolete system. And you need to be able to know what NBC wants. You need to be able to do what NBC wants. You need to be able to stop your staff from doing what NBC does not want, so that regulation does not catch up with you.
Among the discussants, the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, former Director General NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, Managing Director AIT, Tosin Dokpesi, DG Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Mansour Lemar, and DG Abubakar Rimi TV, Kano, Sahar Ibrahim, all commended the SNB's decision to serve as advocacy body for the broadcast industry in Nigeria.
I look forward to the society being able to actually help the younger ones, those who are just coming up. A lot of us are still learning, but the younger ones actually need this kind of society where we can all sit down together, learn. We have a code of conduct that we're all expected to follow because everyone just does what they like. So this is an opportunity for us to really know what is expected of us, how we're supposed to show to the world that there's a society there where we all belong and where things are being done correctly.
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate ourselves and all the inductees for today's event, and it is the first in the history of Nigerian broadcasting. So by and large, what that implies is we have already keyed into the society, because there's one society that sets standards for broadcasters and of course also regulate the way and manner we conduct ourselves so that we play within the confines of our ethics and the profession. So for us in the NTA is a big plus. That I think is going to enhance our duties and our jobs, and professionalism would come to play.
A developing society is a work in progress. It is a building that is in progress. Now, what is the role of media operators in a situation where you have a building that is in progress, where you have a building that is developing? Are you going to be a co-builder or a destroyer? The answer is, for us to sustain our operations in a developing society, we must be co-builders of that society.
Social media issue, I think the professor talked about it, and my colleague, the DG, Vaughan, also spoke about it. I think when we are talking about the sustainability of broadcast operations, I think anywhere, not just in developing countries, I think you are going to, if you try to avoid the social media, I think you are doing it at your own peril. Because the future of broadcast operations, I think, is changing. We know it.
The AIT Executive Director of News, Pauline Ugbodaga, said with the arrival of SNB as professional body, it will regulate and clamp down quacks.
The main reason we're here today, which is the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, being the regulator of the broadcaster as a person, not as an organization. I believe, as everyone has said, that we're overdue for that. With the induction taking place today, I think that this will be the beginning of sanity in the broadcast industry as we know it today.
Chairman Silverbird Group Guy Murray Bruce, and veteran broadcaster, was among the inductees and said it was long overdue. He commended the efforts of the founding fathers.
Broadcasters to be employed or to be in the industry, they must have the broadcast ethics, which should be across all platforms. So there's some kind of conformity and uniformity across all media houses. So there's the do's and don'ts in broadcasting. This sets the tone for broadcasters in the country. Broadcasting is great because there's new media today. Like right now, we're probably online. This platform is online, and that's where we're headed to worldwide. So I think it's a good cause.
Inductees who spoke to reporters also described the professional body as a welcome development.
We are thankful that we have such an organization now, and we pray that it will improve what we expect, our standards. If we can all see it and trust in this system to help us move us forward, is that we would go further if we work together than if we try to do it alone. So I pray and I hope that we would achieve our goal by setting up this institution.
I want the society to go beyond this, by putting up mechanism, maybe making it an act of the parliament, by putting up mechanism whereby graduates from mass communication will proceed straight for a one-year training, and at the end of their training, they should be formally inducted into the society. So I believe that this is the right step in the right direction. This will regulate quackery and then make sure that professionals that are already practicing are guided by the ethics of the profession.
No doubt it's a welcome development. If you observe, we saw veteran broadcast journalists who graced this historic event to at least celebrate a broadcaster. And indeed, this is a day that we will forever remember because every profession must have a body, a respected body that is guided with the ethics of that profession. And just like what is applicable to other professions like the medical profession, the law profession, it is very, very important also for the broadcast industry to also have a profession. And
it's a great achievement that was achieved by Bond. Bond had to midwind it and ensure that they brought in the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. So I'm quite elated that are coming to existence.
Amongst the inductees is the Senior Special Assistant to Kogi State Governor Avoye Nwogu, who called on the National Assembly to speed the passage of the bill to law.
We've been waiting for this for so long, and here it is that we should have a body that actually regulates caring and also help us to further our course of profession. And today we have a professional body called the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. And I'm glad to be among the first batch to be inducted into this association. And we know with this association we should be able to press forward our demands, our rights, our welfare that is somehow lacking. And we'll also be able to filter the quacks from the original. Because I will add my voice to call on the National Assembly and every authority that are supposed to be part of this to make sure the bill is passed. Because once it's passed, then we now have a regulatory body that we can call our own, that can actually check and balance the excess and efficiency of the broadcasters. Then you will know that the fake news and rumor will be checked, because there will be no room for such person to practice without being inducted into this body of profession. And I call them to please, just like the association has called them, to please speedily pass this into law, and we'll be grateful for the assembly to do that for us.
Professor Umaru Pate, who spoke on the push to have a degree in broadcasting in universities, stated how far they've gone as academicians while encouraging the use of technology as a tool for mass communication. He said social media has come to stay.
We are going to encourage anybody who is going to teach, and perhaps make it mandatory. Anybody who is going to teach broadcasting must be a member of. So it will be part of the assessment. If you are to be assessed as a lecturer in broadcasting, you must belong to Sorbonne. But you must also play your own part by encouraging research and also relating with the academia. We are working very hard to ensure that we strengthen the relationship. With the social media, you have a very serious competitor. The future of the media is in audio and video. If you do not have the technology to enable you to capture this and the ability and competence to package, you are out of business.
Like other professional bodies of various professions, the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, SNB, will regulate and control the conduct of the practice, prescribe, determine, and setting the standard of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become members of the broadcasting profession, and reviewing those standards from time to time. It will also serve as advocacy body for the industry, among others. Formal education, certification, and registration of persons seeking to become broadcasting practitioners will be the SNB's responsibility, and finally conducting examinations in the profession and awarding certificate or diploma to successful candidates as and when appropriate. To qualify, one must have worked for 5 to 10 years with requisite qualifications in mass communication or related courses from any qualified institutions. After 60 years of broadcasting, the professional body has inducted our first batch of over 200 media practitioners to uphold the code of ethics of the profession and to freely practice. SMB was registered with CAC on the 3rd of March 1994 with 4 directors, namely Ambassador Yemi Farumbi, Abdurrahman Misika, Ikenagba Guba, and Diron Orekunrin. Matthias Ayodeji Peter